Hello everyone, welcome to Wing Papercrafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've all decided to join me today. We are going to do another episode of Template Tuesday. So here are the two templates that I've put together for this week. And this one here is our basic template. This might be a little hard to pick up on camera, but this makes a stunning card that you'll see when we put this together tomorrow. But basically, we've got a mat of cardstock and another piece of white cardstock here. And then I've got this banner piece here that is cardstock in the back and then pattern paper. This rectangle here that's cardstock, pattern paper, our little sentiment piece, and then a piece of different pattern paper here at the bottom. Now, you could make all three of these pieces of pattern paper the same, or you could make them all three different, or you could do a combination of any of the above. So it's going to be completely up to you how you put the front of your card together. So that's our basic template. Here is our fun fold template for the week. This is a pretty simple one, but does work, make up really pretty. So let's go ahead and put these two templates together. I'm going to move our fun fold out of the way. We're going to start with our basic one. So I've got my recipe here inside of my card. So we're going to start with a card base that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to give this a good burnish. For our first colors of cardstock, I've got a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to be our first layer here. And then I've got a piece that is 2 by 4 3/4. This is going to be the mat for our banner piece. Got another piece that's 2.5 by 3.5. And this is going to be, let's see, not our white piece. This is our piece that goes here. So this is another mat for our rectangle. And then I've got, looks like we're missing a piece of white that we need right here that I thought I had cut, but maybe not. All right, here's our piece that's for the inside. That's 4 by 5 1/4. So what we need to do is cut this piece of white right here. So it is our piece that is, let's see, I actually have another piece over here real quick. I'm just going to borrow this and I will cut another piece of this later. So this is our piece that is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So this is our piece that goes right here. So this is this piece. So that's the piece that goes up here. So that's our white piece. Then we have a piece of pattern paper down here at the bottom. So this is our 2 1/4 by 3 3/4 piece. So this piece here is going to be pattern paper that goes there. And then we've got, so we have our banner piece here and our rectangle piece of cardstock. The last two pieces we have are pattern paper. This is our 1 3/4 by 4 3/8, which is going to make the banner that goes inside that. And this is our 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, which is the piece that goes on this mat. So I know with these colors, and here's our sentiment piece, it's a little hard to tell, but you'll see tomorrow when we put it together how beautiful these cards turn out to be. So let's go ahead and just glue all of this down. So let's start with our piece that goes on the inside. So we will get some glue on our white piece here. And we'll put this down here, centered up. And that looks good. Okay, our piece of cardstock here that is going to be our first layer. So we'll go ahead and center this up. Oh, let's scoot that over just a bit. Come on. It amazes me how sometimes this glue is really quick to take hold, and other times not so much. Alright, so let's get this straightened up there a bit. Alright, that looks pretty good, so we'll do that. Alright, so there's our first layer. Now, next layer, we're going to do, I'm going to do our rectangle piece here next. So, glue on our rectangle pattern paper is going to go on the mat just like this. Okay, so that's going to go here. Oh, wait a minute, hang on. First of all, we'll put down our white piece. It's going to be the top half of our next layer. So right there. And then this is pattern paper that's going to go at the bottom. So these two pieces together make the second layer. And I'm just trying to make sure that the space that I leave at the bottom matches what's at the top here as best as I can. Okay, and again, we're trying to also do our left and right margins as equal as possible. Okay, so there's our second layer. Now, this will go here, and this we would stamp on, and it would go in the middle of this cardstock. So this is going to be two cardstock pieces together. So just a mat for our sentiment piece. Okay, so that's going to go on the very top. And this is what's going to make our banner piece. So the easiest way that I have found to make this banner, if you have a couple of banner dies that would work for this, that would be great. I don't have any, so I'm kind of having to do it the old-fashioned way. So basically, I just took my scissors, tried to find the middle of my pattern piece of paper, and cut up just about a ½ inch. And then I'm going to keep holding this, and I'm going to go in here from this corner, and I'm going to go from the corner down here to the middle at an angle. So we're going to go just like that. I'm going to keep hanging on to this. I'm going to rotate this around and do the same thing from this corner. And we'll go up. Okay, so there's our banner for our pattern piece. Now, next thing I did is I just made sure that this was centered right. I'm still hanging on to it. I'm going to take scissors. We're going to go up in the middle again, just to the point, like in the center, the same place where your center is with your pattern paper, and go up just as far as you want to go for your mat piece to show. And again, we'll do the same thing from the corner down here. I'm trying to see where that corner piece is. So we're going to go from down here at an angle up to that in the middle. We're going to rotate this around and do the same thing from this side. So from the very corner at an angle up to the middle. Okay, it looks like we need just a little bit. Back over here we have just another 1/4 inch we need to snip. There we go, perfect. Okay, so there is another way to make a banner piece with a mat if you don't have banner dies that do that for you. So I'll go ahead and get this glued down. So I'm just going to center this back up on here, left to right and top to bottom, to leave my edges so that they are pretty consistent all the way around. Okay, now let me move these to the side. This piece is the banner piece is going to go down first, and we're going to center this to the left hand side, centered pretty much top to bottom. And we're just going to lay that down right like that. Then we'll take our rectangle piece here, glue on the back of this. We're going to lay this down just kind of centered between the top edge of the banner and the point of the banner. And again, trying to leave the same amount of space on the right hand side as we have on the left hand side. And once you get that where you think you want it, go ahead and press both of those down. Okay, last piece is going to be the piece we would stamp our sentiment on. And we're going to glue this up. And it's just going to go right here, basically centered in the middle of our card. So just like that. Okay, like I said, it's kind of hard to tell what this is going to look like, but once you get the pattern paper going on, this is just cute. One thing I did find that you might have to put a little extra glue down the side here of this sentiment piece, just because you're putting it on top of all these layers. It just needs a little bit extra glue on that edge. Okay, so there is our first card. So let's do our second one. It'll be much simpler than that one. Not that that was hard, just a lot of pieces. So for this one, let's open it up and find our directions here. We've got card base that's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So we're going to burnish this in the middle there. And then I cut off 2 inches off the front of this piece. So 2 inches of this is missing there. So next thing I've got is a piece of cardstock here that's 4 by 5 1/4, and this is going to be our inside sentiment piece in here. Okay. Next piece we're going to have is another cardstock piece that is 4 3/4 by 4, or I'm sorry, 3 3/8 by 4, and that's going to go right out here on this piece. This is going to have a very tiny border. Then we've got this piece that is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2, and this is going to be the white layer in our little diamond piece here. So we'll set that to the side. Then the next cardstock I've got is this piece, which is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and so this is the biggest mat for our diamond piece. So this will go in here. And then what we have left is pattern paper. So this piece is 2 by 3 7/8. It's going to go right here on the outside. Again, very skinny borders on these two pieces. This piece is 3 1/4 by 3 7/8, and it's going to go right here. And then our pattern piece that goes on the front, right here, which is 2 by 2. And then that'll go out here on this side. And then we'll have to figure out when we go to put these cards together what we're going to do about sentiments for the outside. So we could put another piece across here. If you had a light enough colored pattern paper, you could stamp right on the pattern paper. So we will figure out the sentiment piece here when we go to make this on Friday. So for now, let's go ahead and put this piece together. So I'm going to take this piece of pattern paper and I'm going to just line this up over here on the right hand side with just the smallest of border right here, and it's got a very tiny border top and bottom. And then we'll take this whole piece here and we'll glue and put this whole thing down in here. So we're going to center that up. Looks pretty good. Okay, we're going to give that a good press so it sticks. All right, next piece is going to be this piece. So we'll put our white piece down on the front. And we're going to center that up on here. And again, this has a very tiny border. Oh, yeah, that's right. For a minute, I thought I was putting down the wrong piece. Oh my goodness. It's okay, I'll be all right. So let's scoot this over just a hair. Okay, so we got that piece. Then our pattern piece would be next. And that's going to go here. Again, very tiny border on this piece as well. And this one you kind of want to try to make sure that you're even here and here. Okay, now let's get our diamond put together. So, white cardstock, or any light colored cardstock. It wouldn't have to be white. If you wanted to use cream or basic beige or some other color, you could definitely do that. So just whatever goes with your pattern paper the best is what you'll want to use. Okay, so we got that. And then pattern paper is our last piece in here. Perfect. Now, let's see. This is going to go basically the point of our diamond is going to be at the very bottom and the top point at the very top. So just kind of position that to be as even top and bottom as you think you can get it. And so at that point, we know we want to keep our glue to the left of that center, because we don't want to glue our card shut. So I'm just going to put this right back on here, just on the very edge of this flat piece, and with my points right on that edge and then right on the bottom edge. All right, so I'm going to push this down, and we just want to make sure, yep, we didn't get any glue, so we didn't glue our card shut. That's good. Okay, so there is our second one that we made. So we've got our basic template and our fun fold template, and we're going to use this one tomorrow and this one on Friday, and we're going to make Valentine's cards this week. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video. You don't want to miss these cards. They are going to be too cute. So that's all I've got for today. Have a crafty day. Bye.